So, it turns out, although I've gotten much older, I still love Lego just as much as I was when I was a kid. So today we're going to spend some time and unbox this Porsche 911 RSR Lego kit. It's a very detailed kit and it's super cool, so let's have a look what's inside the box and the details that make up this piece. And this really isn't my usual content, nothing's changing, but I thought for everyone out there who loves mechanical and engineering things, they will appreciate this. The detail in this thing is just immense, and as we go through it, you'll see it really does have the details of the actual car, which is very cool, and I hope you'll enjoy as well. As you can see, when you open the box, you're met with a big, thick manual and many bags of parts. And I am pretty sure after building this, there is no methodical order to the way the parts are in bags. So I took all the small bits, collected them together, and left my bigger bags separate. But we start off with the rear end and the differential. As you can see, there's two wishbones being made up, which is already very detailed, and an actual differential in the middle. At this point I was already blown away, just fascinated by the way these things are designed. I was sitting there thinking, how the hell do you design one of these and make it go together? Very cool and definitely underrated. But this rear end comes together. We've got two dampers and shocks, and then we're almost building some strut towers to bolt it to the rest of the chassis. And right now, even at this point, I can tell you that it is well worth getting one of these if you're into this sort of thing. They're not cheap, but they're a great project to sit down in the evenings. I spent my evenings doing this across a few weeks. Now I know I could sit down and smash it all out in one day, but it's actually quite therapeutic sitting down for a few hours and building some Lego. Lego does offer a different style Porsche, which is a classic style 911, and this is the more Technic, larger, more modern Porsche. Both equally cool, but I think there is a price difference. All I can say is after building one, I am desperate to get my hands on something else. They also do a Concorde, which is much bigger, and yeah, that will probably be on my Christmas list for next year. Originally, with this video, I thought I would time-lapse the whole project, but actually, no one wants to sit for an hour just watching every single piece assemble. So I've tried to cut it down in the best way and highlight the parts that I think are cool and the important aspects to these Lego models. So as you can see now, the chassis is really starting to take shape. We've got a front end, we've got a rear end, and we're building up the middle of the chassis. And I have to say, one thing you don't appreciate when you're building these is that they don't stop growing and they are much larger than you first think. You have an idea in your head of the size, and I can assure you it is much bigger. But here's a quick look at some of the cool moving parts. You've got that differential, you've got that steering mechanism, and you can still see we have loads of parts left over. So keep throwing it together, building up each segment, and you can see it start to take shape. Now, hopefully you're here because you're thinking about buying one of these and you're checking out what the details are like. I can say, please go ahead and buy one. You won't regret it. If you're a regular subscriber, just watching the videos, it's much appreciated. And if you're new in general to the channel, please do check out some of my other videos. There is loads of cool things. Talking of engines, there's one on the screen, but we do actually build the real thing. So if you're into this sort of workshop, mechanical, working with your hands, I do recommend checking out some of my other videos. And with that powerhouse flat 6 assembled with moving pistons, con rods, the works, it starts to take shape and you see the layout of the vehicle. You can see the steering's got the WJ, and we've even got some graphics going onto the steering wheel. There are so many little details, as I've mentioned, that make this thing up, and it is super cool. You can even see there, like I say, it's a working steering mechanism. And if you're someone younger, just looking to get into automotive or anything hands-on, these are a great way to just improve your skills as well as have fun. It gives a great idea of the layout of a vehicle, how mechanically things join together, and just an appreciation for the scale and volume of parts that are needed to build a vehicle. This is a simple small Lego model, and it's crazy what goes into it. So it really does make you think about what's inside a real passenger or sports race car. As touched on, I did cut out a lot of the similar repetitive things, and you can see now the vehicle is really starting to take shape and come to its final form. So a lot of bodywork's going on, we've got rear fenders going on, we've got decals, and it is just starting to look a bit more like the real thing. We've got a dash there, and we've got our bonnet sliding it into position, even with some stickered air vent fins. What is also enjoyable about the Lego models are the manuals. They are detailed enough so it's nice and easy to build, but you do have to analyse each image. It's not written instructions, it's all visual, so you have to pay attention, and it is easy to get the little spaces and cogs in the wrong way round, so it's important to take care doing that. And here's a glimpse of the model. 90% built, I would say. We're coming to the end now and putting the final touches to this model. One of the big things being wheels and tyres. So we have a last look round, and we're going to move on to these final pieces. With those skid plates added to the bottom, we can add the final antennas on top, some quirky little details, and then we're going to move on to these wheels and tyres. So they're very accurate mouldings and rubber tyres, really cool, and do give you a feel of how the real thing is. So they push onto the rims, and then these press fit onto their uprights / hubs, and that completes the vehicle. So I do really hope you've all enjoyed this video. It's a short one, it's a little different, but hopefully it was cool and enjoyable. Until next time, take it easy, and I'll see you then.